Hey everybody, we are live streaming. Haven't done this in a few months. Just wanted to do this before I get the weekend started. Since it is a Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, there's probably not going to be a ton of viewers on this stream, to be quite honest, but I felt like doing this just to engage a little bit with you guys. I know I was missing pretty much the whole month of September. That's because I had the birth of my child August 20th, so that was pretty exciting. So a fun fact here is that my dad was born on August 20th, my wife's dad was born on August 20th, and my daughter was born on August 20th. So we got a nice little trifecta going on right there. So I'm hoping, those birthdays, especially in the summer, are going to be really nice with grilling out with friends and family and stuff like that. So I'm going to check on the stream here. I just want to see how the health of the stream is doing. In the chat, just let me know if you guys can hear me and see me okay. Everything looks like it's working in order. But I just want to make sure that we are good to go. Because if so, I'm going to start with the jobs report here. So this was pretty interesting. So I went into a local McDonald's a couple weeks ago. It's on my Instagram if you guys want to check it out. But basically, okay, perfect. You guys are saying here and see you fine. That's awesome. So I went into a local McDonald's a few weeks ago, maybe like a month ago at this point, and I went in there real quick just to get a cup of coffee because I was rushing to get to a meeting. And on the window, I shared this on my Instagram, was saying like, hey, please be patient. This was the McDonald's employees posting this. It was on a piece of paper. It said, hey, please be patient. We're working to best serve you. The people that do want to work are here. So it was insinuating that, people are, on unemployment and stuff like that, which I understand. But I post that on my Instagram to kind of just get a little like debate or conversation going. And part of me feels like that sign is like a microcosm of the state of the economy. And then the other part of me thinks that, hey, these franchises or these companies or these fast food restaurants or chains, they should be paying people more. So then you get into the debate of, is minimum wage even a thing? Does it really make sense? Is it just going to hurt people in the long run by making entrepreneurs raise their prices more? That kind of a thing. So what are your thoughts on that in the chat? And with that being said, let's get into this jobs report video real quick. It's just about a minute and a half long.
Whoa. I see 194,000. That is real low. Consensus of 500,000. August was revised up a bit, so 366,000. Let me go to the jobless rate. Wow, big decline, 4.8%. 5.1 was expected. Let me go to the B1 table and see if I can find where the jobs were. And I think in this case, where the jobs weren't is what we're trying to figure out. It was definitely a weaker number than expected, with I think the factors that were enumerated just before we went into the number being responsible here. You still had the COVID issues. Let me see now. I've got 194 overall. Private is 317. It means there was a big decline in the government here. I'm going to go right down to that as we're talking to find the government area here. Government minus 123 with a big decline in local government education. So I guess you had the addition in August, came off in September. That leisure and hospitality, 74,000. That's not the kind of numbers we need from that sector to drive the employment that we need. I'm going to see if I can find retail here. Just want to real quick. Nothing really going on in leisure and hospitality.
Okay, so with that being said, obviously the jobs report misses. And just to continue off the conversation that I started before I started playing this video, if you look at the first reply, this person says, stop giving out free money and numbers will be better. And then this guy says unemployment is 4.8%. We need more workers, open up immigration, et cetera, et cetera. So wherever you fall on that end of the spectrum, what are your guys' thoughts about this? Do you feel like companies simply aren't paying enough? Do you feel like the government is incentivizing people to stay home, kind of with the benefits coming from the cerveza sickness and all that? What are your guys' thoughts about that? I'm pretty interested to hear that. Typically, these streams, they get a few thousand people on here. I think we have about 87. So I don't know what the hell is going on with my channel. I really feel like I'm starting to get not like shadow banned or anything like that, but again, it's 3 p.m. on a Friday. So I get it. People are heading to happy hour, they're heading to the bar. They're not watching YouTube, especially right now. But I kind of wanted to get this live stream in just before the weekend starts. So what are your thoughts about that? So let me go to the chat right here. I'm seeing that they're manipulated. The numbers are manipulated. Nothing is real. We're in the Truman Show. Well, I don't know about all that, but I don't know about you guys, but in my hometown, I'm seeing signs everywhere that are now hiring signs, more than I've ever seen in my entire life. So it shows that a lot of people are looking for workers, whether it's, service industry, whether it's like landscaping, whether it's, whatever. I'm starting to see a ton and ton more of now hiring signs. So when do you think that these jobs reports are going to start to improve? And what are your thoughts on this overall? So just something to think about. So if I go into this second tab right here, this is pretty interesting. This is basically average and median net worth by age in 2020. So I'm going to scroll down just a little bit here. I posted something similar to this on Instagram. If you guys don't follow me, it's just WhiteBoard Finance on Instagram or WhiteBoard Fin on Twitter. So take a look at some of these numbers. I want to see what you guys think about this because I pulled up a chart on Instagram and I posted it on there, and it was basically the average versus the median net worth by age. And this was the age of the head of household. And a lot of people were saying like, hey, these numbers are way higher, than I think they should be. Some people are saying like, yeah, this is right in line with what I'm thinking. Based on these numbers, do you feel like you're at where you're supposed to be or where you need to be? Supposed to be is kind of the wrong word because that creates a keeping up with the Joneses mentality. But, I just want to see some of these reactions to these numbers. So I'll let you digest those a little bit. I'm going to take a look at some of these chats. So we see if we want to raise, then learn a new skill or get educated. I remember working for $5.15 back in the day with gas prices at $4.60 a gallon. It made me learn the value of money. Yeah, Michael, I agree with that. So my first job was basically a server. So I was a server, busboy, dishwasher, cook, a little bit everything. It was at a pizza place called Angie's Pizza here in Cleveland. And I thought I was rich. This was when I had my temporary license. So I was like 15 and a half, 16 years old, right around there. So this was 17 years ago. I started at like $6.50 an hour, $6.50 an hour. And I'm telling you, dude, I thought I was rich. All my buddies were making like 5 something an hour, right? And that was like my first job. And it was, I don't know if it was cash. I'm pretty sure it was cash under the table, but I did pay taxes, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But I think that $6.50 an hour is pretty interesting. So people are going to start talking about politics, obviously, which I don't want to get into. It's Friday. Let's just have some fun. Let's take it easy, even though, a lot of it does have to do with finance. If you're an investor or consider yourself an investor and you don't follow politics or macro trends or geopolitics, I think you're kind of missing a big piece of the pie right here. My phone is blowing up with these spam calls. I don't know what the hell happened. Are you guys getting a ton of spam calls? Because I know my family members definitely are. Oh, yeah, this guy goes, you took a month off, the algorithm doesn't like you now. Yeah, that's true. I got to be one of these guys that are on the hamster wheel Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just putting out content, whether it's good or not, just to appease the algorithm. But I have too much respect for my audience to do that, to be quite honest. So what are your thoughts on some of these numbers, you guys? Marco, congrats on the baby. Don't stop playing soccer. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Help wanted signs are everywhere. What do I think of ARC, ARC-G, and ARC Innovation? I started talking about ARC like in 2018 on this channel before anybody else was talking about it. I got to find the exact video, but it was in one of those, 3 stocks to buy in July kind of videos. And I looked into it like literally 3 years ago. I just never invested into it. I didn't realize, I thought we were coming to the end of a bull market in 2018, and we did have a major dip, but they just lowered interest rates and then the market exploded again. So I'm glad I've been invested for basically 17 or 15 years now. So I check net worth updates too much. Yeah, don't get caught into that, you guys. I understand that it's important to understand net worth because that is kind of like the health pulse of your finances. That really is kind of like the quick overview or the quick health check on how you're doing. But net worth is kind of just, don't use it as a measurement to see if you're doing better than your neighbor or worse than your neighbor or your friends or anything like that. Kind of do it for yourself. If you have goals for net worth, that helps. If you have certain things that you want to pay down or certain assets that you want to acquire or a certain number that you want to get to by the end of the year, for example, or the end of 5 years, that's a good way to use net worth. If you check it too obsessively, just like a stock portfolio, you're going to overanalyze and you're ultimately going to paralyze yourself from a decision-making standpoint. When do I see the auto market going back to normal? That's a great question. So I did a video on car prices, used car prices, and why they're so expensive. There was recently Lynn Alden. She posted a chart on Twitter. I don't know if I can find it real quick, but basically she posted an update about this. So if you guys don't follow Lynn, I highly recommend her. She's great. She's a big macro thinker. I like a lot of the stuff that she posts. I'll take a lot of her screenshots. Here it is right here, you guys. So basically, this is the Manheim Used Vehicle Index. When I made my video, it was like right here. If you guys can see the cursor on my screen, you can see now that it shot back up to an all-time high for September of 2021. So we're right here. This is Cox Automotive, aka Manheim. They own auctions. They own information services about used cars. They pretty much are the go-to when it comes to used car resources and new car resources. So this was a tweet thread that I thought was pretty interesting, and I want to share this with you guys. So if you guys remember the NFL player Ndamukong Suh, he was kind of like, a bad boy, kind of like, he didn't fully reach his potential. I mean, he was a great player, but he was supposed to do a lot better than he did. But, he signed, big contract, made a lot of money. But I thought this was pretty interesting, so I'm going to share this with you guys real quick. So he said, I came into some money at a young age, which can be a blessing, but it can also be trouble. I made some mistakes. I learned from the best and ultimately found a formula for financial success. Here's my story and the 5 principles I use to manage money well over time. So these first couple tweets are huge, guys. So he said when he started in college, college kids aren't great budgeters. You pay your rent. Everything else is throwaway. I can attest to this. So I used to bartend. I used to valet. I used to do security. Well, not security. I'm 165 pounds, 5'11". I'm not throwing anybody out. I have a soccer player build, it's like lean, athletic, if you will. But I used to check IDs. I used to do all these jobs like under the table, right? So I learned a lot from valeting, and I learned a lot from bartending as well. I highly recommend anyone that hasn't done those jobs to do it, because it'll definitely help you with people and interacting. So he said, if you come into some money around then, you've got to learn. Lucky for me, Coach Joe Maglia intervened. I believe this guy was like the CEO of like Fidelity or TD Ameritrade or something. Oh, yeah, you can see his profile right here. He was the CEO and chairman at TD Ameritrade, but he was also an American football coach. So he said he sat me down early, walked me through everything I needed to know. His number one piece of advice is budget religiously. Know how much you're spending on every category in your life. I still use the spreadsheets I stole from him. So let me pause there. So I hate budgeting. Most people hate budgeting. It's similar to a diet. You're kind of restricting yourself of what you can and can't do. Budgeting sucks. I'm not a proponent of budgeting in any way, shape, or form. However, if you look at the big picture of how much money you're taking in versus how much money you're expending every month, just keep a spreadsheet of your expenses for like 2-3 months. Just get an idea of where your leaks are. Plug those leaks, peel off the extra that you can, and pay yourself first. That's really all it boils down to. So me and my wife, we typically have our incomes that come into, she has a checking account, I have a checking account, but they all go into one savings account. And within that savings account, we have travel, house fund, savings in emergency, 3 to 6 months, anything that we want to save for, a car fund, for example. That's how I recommend budgeting, but this is also good advice if you have the discipline to do it. It's just more people typically don't. So that gave me a strong foundation, but it wasn't all smooth sailing in my 20s. I was pretty good about cars and houses. I spent very responsibly, not so great about ... experiences. If I had bought Bitcoin with the 50 grand I spent at a club in 2015, I would have around 11.4 million today. So with that being said, what are your guys' thoughts in the chat here? What do you think about experiences versus big purchases, like, let's say like a sports car or a nice house, something along those lines, material purchases? I'm somewhere in the middle, as always. I'm not trying to talk out of both sides of my mouth, but I was blessed to be able to travel my entire life from a very young age. I have a lot of relatives in Europe and a lot of family in Europe. So I've been going to Europe almost, every other year since the age of 9. Okay, so that's about 24 years, a quarter of a century. So I've been everywhere. I've been Western Europe, Eastern Europe, Southern Europe, all over the place. I haven't been to Asia. I haven't been to South America just yet. But other than that, I've been all throughout the United States. My point of saying this is that traveling shapes your opinion on a lot of things, and it gives you a broader spectrum on life. You can be the guy that's never left his hometown, that has no perspective on anything. He just gets his information from, cable television and watches football on Sundays. Or you can be someone that's traveled the entire world and you can see, oh, I remember how people lived here. I remember how people lived there. These people have a point. They have a point. It just makes you a better rounded person, in my opinion. So with that said, what do you guys think about traveling or just any experiences? This one, he's talking about, obviously blowing 50 grand in the club, which I don't advise doing that. That's just stupid. Because most of these people that are kind of drinking those bottles when you're rich, they're not there when you're poor. Trust me. They go away real quick and you'll see who your real friends are. But anyway, let me continue. So everything changed when I interned at Related. The difference between being rich and building wealth really hit me. Rich people can buy a lot of fruit. Wealthy people plant the fruit trees. So let me repeat that. Rich people can buy a lot of fruit. Oh, shit. What'd I do? Rich people can buy a lot of fruit. Wealthy people plant the fruit trees. Highly paid or not, I realized my money was just income. It could go away instantly. So he said, I understood what I had to do to be respected on and off the field. I met venture capitalists, private equity funds, startups, learning as much as I could. I studied the markets and I got into the business world. I knew I needed to figure my future out before I left the league, and that's where I am now. So a lot of us on this stream obviously haven't been professional athletes or don't have the income that professional athletes have, but all of us can control our spending, okay? So this isn't meant to be like a budgeting podcast or anything like that. Like I said, I hate budgeting, but I think it makes sense to plug certain leaks. And if you look at my pinned tweet, I've had this pinned for months now. You're not going to make money like with 20-cent iced coffee and skipping lattes and all this stuff. That doesn't move the needle at all, you guys. Okay, if you drink a $5 coffee, that's not going to move the needle. I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. I may have to change this stream. It says the stream's current bit rate is lower than the recommended bit rate. We recommend that you use a stream bit rate of 4,500 kilobytes per second. Okay, I'll figure this out. If you guys... Oh, the stream ended for me twice already. It stopped and it came back. Oh, can't hear or see you. What's going on? Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. I may have to change this settings. 1 second. Hold on. Sorry, you guys. I'm going to put this on myself. Stream settings. Oh, you know what? I can't change this in the middle of a stream, you guys. What's going on? Hey, my bad, you guys. Yeah, this is absolutely getting crushed right now. I'm sorry. I have no idea what's going on. I think it's my streaming software. I may have to change it. 1 second. I'm going to end this stream, you guys. I'm going to try and mess around with this software real quick. Give me 1 second. Sorry, guys.